Hello, sir. Good. Hello, how are you? We thought we would have a small group today because we changed the date and we're right. If by chance people can show us their face just for at least the introductions part, that would be lovely because it's a small enough group. I'd love to know who's here. And thank you, Amy, for doing that first off. So welcome to our Friday Zoom a week early because we didn't know we scheduled it for Memorial Day weekend until it got closer. So we'll go over today's agenda is to actually talk about 250 to explain it. I'd like to know what people know about 250 at this point because some of you have been on prior calls and some are totally new. So based on what I hear in introductions about how much you already know, we'll focus on that or go to the next part. So Amy, do you mind? I'm Karen Simmons. I manage the 250 initiative with Chester County. And my partner in 250 crime is Heather Reifer. You want to introduce yourself, Heather?
Yes, hi. My name is Heather Reifer. I've been working on Chester County 250 with Karen over the past almost year, and we were both on the Chester County 250 Commission ahead of that. I come from a historic sites background. I've been a director at two different fantastic heritage sites here in Chester County, the Millet and Selma and historic Sugartown.
So Heather is my resident historian because I am not a historian. I'm a community organizing person and all that good stuff. And then our marketing team at the Community Foundation, Beth and Paige, you want to introduce?
Hi, I'm Beth Corrales. I do the marketing and communications for Chesco 250 and the Chester County Community Foundation.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry. My name is Paige Marsden, and I do the marketing and analytics for the Chester County Community Foundation.
And so for 250, they're helping us get the word out and coming up with all kinds of good videos and social media and marketing plans and trying to co-promote and get the website updated every single day when people have good ideas. So Amy, since you were up first, can you give me a little bit of who you are, what organizations you represent? What do you know about 250?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Bruckner. I'm with North American Land Trust,
headquartered
in Chadsford in Chester County. And well, we're actually in Pennsbury Township. Chadsford.
Even better. I'm Kennett Square. So you're still in, but we go across county lines, don't worry.
So, but what we do have is a relatively new preserve. Public preserve that is in Chadsford Township, but the northern boundary of the preserve, even though it's in Delaware County, the northern boundary of the preserve is in Chester County. So we're right next to
Delaware and Chester. This is regional. Don't worry about the Chester town. So yeah, you are a newer land preserve. I was reading something about you just a while back.
Oh no, we're not new. We've been around for 30 years. And our Britton Run Preserve is new.
That's what it is. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Britton Run Preserve we opened 2 years ago to the public.
Okay, thank you.
And we're working on another couple in the area.
And are you working with Janine Spears as
yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, got it. So
Beverly Barnes and Janine.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. And I did attend a first meeting way back at Thornberry Farm. There was one last year, I want to say, on the 250th.
Okay, yeah, that was a pinch of it. Okay,
yeah,
that helps.
So we're trying to get ourselves together since we're relatively new preserve, and we're still a work in progress, and so we're trying to. I imagine we're going to get into this kind of thing, but we're trying to get our interpretive signage in place for the 250th and programming and so on. So
Good. Okay, that helps. Thank you very much. Okay.
sure.
Good, good. On my screen, I have Anom Sayed next, PA 60, PA 06. Oh, okay, that helps. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Anam. I'm coming actually from Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan's office. I know you guys might know Donnell Shepard. He was sort of the main.
Might know Donnell Shepard.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
Anam. Yes, yeah.
Yes. And we're sort of tag teaming on our office's efforts with assisting with the whole America 250 thing.
I'm
So
so
here
glad
today.
you're here. Thank you so much. And oh my God, Chrissy's our rock star. So you're lucky to work with a great rock star and keep it rolling.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Welcome. Lawrence Ayaccio. Oh, I really fractured that, from East Whiteland. Can you pronounce your name for me, sir?
Yeah, it's Lawrence Accio. I go by Larry.
Larry
But
Accio.
yeah, no worries. My whole life's been mispronunciation.
Sorry.
So all good. Yeah, so I am coming from East Whiteland Township out in Chester County, around Malvern area, if you're familiar. I am the Director of Parks and Recreation for the township. New to my position, first Director of Parks and Recreation the township had. And so I'm kind of just been attending these meetings, getting ideas about what 250 is, how to celebrate it, and how to best implement it in our township. And we've gotten some great ideas and love hearing from all the presenting people so far. So I'm just here to absorb and sponge all the information that I can.
I love sponges. It's replication is the greatest form of flattery. Beautiful. Thank you, Larry Accio. And who is it Mashton on my screen? Can anybody see? I don't see a lot.
Unfortunately, my video is not working. I'm Mark Ashton.
Mark Ashton.
I'm president of the Board of Historic Yellow Springs, and I also wear a second hat, which is I'm on the Historic Commission and the HARB for West Pikeland Township.
Wonderful. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. And then Tim Compton's here.
Hi, everyone. Tim Compton, the Executive Director of Historic Yellow Springs. And we're thrilled to be a part of it and excited to put together some programming. We've got an exciting 2026 coming up.
Yep. Hey, how's the arts, not sale, art, what do you call it?
The show, yeah, the art show just wrapped up on Sunday. We had a wonderful Mother's Day with lots of artists painting and great attendance. It was another wonderful year. The committee that puts it on does such a fantastic job. In fact, we have looks about 15 or 20 artists loading out the last of the couple pieces. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. I thought it was going on more this weekend, but not in the rain. I can't even begin to think about the rain and how that impacted you all this last week, 10 days. Enough.
We fared pretty lucky. The major events were on days that were probably mostly cloudy, I would say. But yes, we do pray to the rain gods every year to make sure that they're nice to us around the art show.
We tried. Thanks, Tim. And who is S. Brown?
Hi, that'd be Steve Brown. I'm with the West Callan Township Historical Commission and a formal member of the Historic Preservation Network.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Glad you're here. Heather, are you excited we have all these folks here from commissions and municipalities?
I am, and I believe all of them have signed the 250 resolution, so they're official partners.
Excellent, excellent. Who's Bernard Greenberg's iPad?
Yes, Bernard Greenberg. I represent the Millet in Selma in Chester Springs.
Oh, hi, Bernie.
Hi, Heather.
God, just kill me. Okay, Bernie. Hi, Bernie. Didn't know you. One of our favorite mills, right, Heather?
Absolutely the best one.
Yep.
I'm not
Wow.
at all.
Yeah. How many years were you there for, by the way, Heather?
Not as many as you think. I think I was there 7 years.
Oh, it's as many as I think. Good for you. Thanks, Bernie. And then Daniel Campbell, AIA, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you give us a clue of, there you are, we can see you too.
Did you have a question?
What brings you to this? What do you know about 250? A little, a lot, that sort of thing.
I'm a architect specializing in historic preservation, so of course I'm interested in history.
Beautiful.
I'm on the voluntary historical commission of Westtown Township,
Westtown?
where I've lived for 20 years.
Beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Stephen Lyons, you want to sing your intro for us, please?
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all.
I've got a beautiful feeling everything's going to go your way.
Together. Yeah, I'm with West Goshen Historic Commission and Friends of Shiloh AME Church and Cemetery. Just look forward to continuing these engagements and seeing what folks are up to and walking this walk.
Welcome. Did I catch everybody? All right, I think what I'm going to do is briefly go through the 250 slides that some of you have seen and should explain to me, and probably I'll actually ask you questions so that you can tell us what's actually working on those. And then let's get to the business at hand. Oh my gosh, my screen is shared, would not be right. Let's try this. You know, I very nicely got rid of the PowerPoint that was up on my screen so I could see everybody's faces, and now you have to look at what's on my other screen. Are you able to see this PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So you know that 250 is coming, and we've been doing these Zoom sessions since January each month, just trying to get the word out, and it seems to be working. We are wanting to see people live in a couple of weeks on Friday the 7th. So if you don't know about or haven't signed up for our Thornberry Farm Summit, please do, and bring all your friends, anybody interested in history, heritage, patriotism. We're trying to get all kinds of people involved and letting them know that 250 is coming and finding out what they can do to join us. So please, questions about that summit? I can go over the agenda toward the end. I think I have a slide, and we'll send the PowerPoint around everybody as well. Oh, Leslie Bernick just got here from the Chester County Concert Band. Hi, Leslie. We just went around and did introductions. So, well, Leslie, in a while, I'll have you speak about some of the things you all did. But, oh, wait, Nate, you can introduce yourself a bit more.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Leslie Bernick. I'm president of the Chester County Concert Band, and we were very excited to be able to help support the 250 PA Chester County not vendetta
initiative.
Yeah, I know. We had a 50-50 raffle at our spring concert, and which was May 5th, and we were able to give the 50% that would have gone to the band went to this organization instead. So it was very exciting, and you know, we were able to have Karen come and in her wonderful patriotic outfit and you know, make a little speech, and then we were able to give her the money in the second half of the concert. So that was great.
So I call it the 50-50 for 250. Thank you. It was fun. And actually what we did, and you should know, we will come out and talk to any group or individual about 250. So Leslie invited us to come on stage and talk for a couple of minutes just to help what did you have, Leslie? 400 people at that concert? You were sold out.
Yeah, it would have been around.
And there's 100 people in the concert band.
Yep.
And then 400, I mean, sold out crowd.
Yeah, it was
and so it was great. We set a table up so that as everybody came in and waited in that long line to get in, we gave out more than 500 250 cards, info cards.
That's wonderful.
And gave people the pledge form to dare to declare. And it was really the little kids whose faces lit up as they explained it and read it. And it turns out you picked a weekend when all our reenactors were up or down at Mount Vernon. So I got to put on a
Yeah.
sad
Oh, well, it was great. It was still great.
It was a sad substitute for a true reenactor, but I gave it my best. So, yeah. So, and thank you for letting us get the word out to 500 people in one concert that 250 is coming. So, yeah, more to come, more to come.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will go anywhere to not just to talk about 250, but also to help you and your groups plan for 250. So please keep that in mind. So, oh my goodness. So this is who we are. You all know that 250 is coming in 2 years from now. And the fact is, as we're looking, this language will send out. The difference, I think, with this year's 250 and what a lot of people might remember about the bicentennial is this lovely "we the people" thing over here. Rather than the 250 commission saying, yes, we are going to have this parade and this fireworks event, and you must all come. And that's an exaggeration, I know. What we're really trying to do throughout the nation is people, groups, individuals coming up with their own events that we can co-promote. So everybody throughout the entire year is a part of our celebration and our commemoration of the founding of our country, independence, and striving for liberty and justice for all. So it's a year-long commemoration celebration, and we're trying to help everybody realize it's coming and help everybody gear up to do things. So, and when we look at Chester County very specifically, you know that we have a rich history here that in many cases we've kind of undersold throughout the land about Chester County's role. And so when the 250 Commission was created, it was the same time that the Heritage Plan is being developed by the county. And so these are some of the themes that really seem to resonate with 250. Now, again, I said the three things that are very different is one is for this celebration throughout, leading up to throughout 2026 and beyond, we are at the commission trying to make everyone aware that 250 is coming and that each person can have a role by coming up with things that resonate with them and their groups and their neighborhoods and their municipalities. We want to be able to make sure to connect Chester County's founding of the nation to Chester County's stories of the past, helping people understand how it informs our present and shapes our future. So it's not just events that are about 1776. They put things in place on this path. The other thing is that, as you know, you have some amazing sites and towns and municipalities throughout Chester County that just speak of history. And so what we're trying to do is help sites gear up and plan and trying to get some resources that we can get out to the sites so that you can be prepared for more visitors, both from the ones who are coming from Philadelphia and pouring in, as well as elevating visitors from people who live, work, and play in Chester County and close to beyond. As I said, we don't want to put on any more events. What we want to do is help people realize that there's thousands of events that already go on. But can you please add an overlay that has to do with anything about our history, our founding, the landscape that makes our society and culture and arts that makes it so important, the values that have evolved over time that are specific to Chester counties. And they also play in everything. The creative expression here is so incredible because I think we have this incredible natural landscape. We're close to some regional hubs in Philly, New York, DC. There's just some beauty out there and some vibrancy. The very place that we are located lends itself to so much of this and the people who are here. The 4 heritage themes that the 250 Commission really, really is focused on is if you're part of the Philadelphia campaign, which so many of you are in that territory, we want to help you tell your stories and get connected and get more ready for visits. If you're part of iron, steel, and industry that literally forged our nation and helped us win the war and then set the path for industry, we want to help you get ready. The unfinished business in 1776 about all men are created equal actually led to our path to freedom. Unfinished business is that all men weren't quite really treated equally. If you're 3/5 a person as an enslaved person, or if you're a woman, you couldn't vote and all that stuff. You know that. So because, again, of the location of Chester County, just over the southern border, the Mason-Dixon line, on the way to Philadelphia freedom and Canadian freedom, and the Quaker values, Chester County is known for being its path to freedom activities, not just in southern Chester County, but through to Phoenixville and on the byway as we get to the Harriet Tubman Byway. So we have a great deal in Chester County by the very power of our place. And so these are the things we're trying to help people realize and focus on. But you can celebrate and commemorate our independence any way you want. We just want to know about it so we can help get the word out. So when we look at the 250 Commission, you're mostly historians here. You know this so much better than I. These are the themes, the 4 themes, the regions, the theme regions, of course, are overlaid. It's the entire county, and all these dots on here are where there's heritage sites located, or Main Street initiatives located. And we are trying at the 250 Commission to gather some ways so that there's some cohesion, so that tourists and visitors understand how it all fits together, how the stories fit together, and where they should head next, as well as what amenities are along the way where they can eat, drink, and be merry before they come to the next destination. So that's what the 250 Commission, again, the themes are written here. And it's all about being part, first knowing that 250 is coming, which you do, and then how can we help to get the word out, and how can we help groups to partner and come up with what they want to do. So before I jump into some of the, and you know the timeline, I'm sorry, I forgot this one. This came out of Marian Moskowitz's beautiful mind, that as we're trying to get everyone aware that 250 is coming in 2026 throughout the whole year, and actually because the Battle of the Brandywine wasn't until 9/11/77, we're not just celebrating and commemorating during 2026. It's incumbent on us to keep that going through the 250th of the Battle of Brandywine, and then we made it up to Valley Forge and we overwintered. So all these things we're putting in place really are going to last forever. They're legacies. We're really trying to put things in place that will go on further than just 2026. There is this little election coming up in a little bit that has taken up a lot of airtime, and it's actually causing a lot of conversation about what does freedom mean, what does independence mean, who should be independent, liberty and justice for all. It's a good and a bad time to be trying to get everybody to come together and celebrate and commemorate our country and sing Kumbaya together. In a sense, we need it now more than ever before, perhaps. So that's the overarching 2026, what the commission is trying to do. Part of our charge is to really, again, help everybody throughout the region decide what they want to do together, you plan it, and then our job is to help co-promote it so we can get the word out. And again, we're trying to get resources as well so that we can help. And the first resource we can offer is that we're just trying to raise awareness and help your groups with planning. So these are some basic questions, but it starts to get to the how does our group start to plan for 250? Bev Shepherd came up with these. Some of you might know our lovely historian, Bev, who really convinced the commissioners that 250 is coming and we should get cracking. So these are some very straightforward questions we have in a planning guide. And we will come out. All you have to do is send us an email or tell me or Heather, and we will come out and work with your groups. We have a small cadre of 250 facilitators, and we'll help you figure out some answers to this. How did your group participate and influence in the nation's founding? And then when you look at our founding, where we are now and what's going on, what linkages do we have to liberty and justice for all, independence, this continuing journey to be more perfect union, and then to really get to what should we share and how can we do this? And there's so many ideas. These are just the first, like, you know, a couple dozen. We've got pages that we're actually going to start to organize. What can you do? It's the stuff you already do, I think. But how is it unique to what your community and your location? How can we help you engage even more people in it? Who do you want to partner with and connect? A lot of Chester County is pretty siloed, and tourists and visitors like to know what's next and other groups to be able to bring to your place. So we're really hoping to forge some partnerships for all kinds of reasons here. And then, you know, every time you come up with these great ideas, you got to get down to the who's responsible for what by when and how much money do we need. So that's the stuff that the 250 Commission wants to help you and your groups and your townships and your municipalities do. How does that sound? And then let's get some ideas rolling, because it's a pretty straightforward planning process and we just want to help people do it. And we want to connect resources so that you have more resources to be able to do. So what are you thinking? I mean, easy to do, not easy to do? What do we do? Oh, and the co-promotion part, as you met briefly, Beth and Paige on here, we update the website how many times a day, Beth? We are so trying to keep evolving the website so that it has more resources that people need. And we're going to add resource pages to it about volunteer sharing, funding source possibilities, and just really the one is programs. As you have programs, we're working with the Convention and Visitors Bureau on their website. It's an extranet. So as you come up with things, whether they're next week or how far down the road can we go, 10 years, I don't know. We can just put it on the calendar. And once we put it on the calendar, then Beth and her staff and interns then pick off things and highlight them and help put it on social media. And of course, we want your social media that we can forward and friend and start to get going. And if you don't have the time or patience to enter the events and read Beth's instruction here, then just send us stuff. And Beth and the interns will make sure and get your stuff on there. We'll also do workshops. The Convention and Visitors Bureau wants to do workshops for us on these Zoom calls on social media tips and design and all that good stuff. And we'll try to hook up folks with that, and volunteers, all those good things. So we want to co-promote everything throughout the region so that people know what's going on and we can get larger audiences and visitors to what you're doing. Ta-da! Oh, and there's all kinds of stuff on our media page. So if you're a township or municipality and you have a newsletter, an e-newsletter, Beth Kay and Paige send out notices once a month saying, here's some interesting 250 stuff. Can you please include it on your newsletters or social media? And if you haven't been getting that, unblock us because we're sending it out. And if you want something, just let us know. We will send it so quickly to you because we need to get the word out that 250 is coming through social media, through print media, all kinds of ways. So what do y'all think about that? What kinds of questions and ideas are percolating, and I have this, I want to offer it. What do you think? Because that is, we're going to start to really get people talking more about percolating ideas, I think. Anybody got percolating ideas, common questions? Go for it, Amy.
I can start with an idea that's percolating for us.
Great.
And I have to preface this with, this is kind of our proposal for a grant that we applied for to the Philadelphia funders for the semi-quincentennial.
Yes.
Yes.
The folks who now have so many applications,
Oh
they
my
can't
God.
even sift through them.
Yeah, so
yeah, if you weren't the first 10 in, you are now in a stack, by the way.
Well, so we had good news, bad news. We submitted a planning and an implementation. They, pretty much said, not going to do the planning one, but you are being actively considered for the implementation.
We're not going to help you plan, but just do it.
Well, but
God love
I know that was rather strange, but I think we can still do it.
I think so.
We can, because there was some planning time in the implementation ones.
Good. So what are you thinking about?
That's not a given. But so what our idea is, it's called the Fight for Freedom in Nature, because we're a nature preserve, right? We're also on the Brandywine battlefield.
Yeah.
And so we want to do interpretive signage and theme programs that tell the stories, underrepresented stories from back to the Lenape, their role as the original inhabitants, and what happened to them, and then how share stories of African Americans and their role in the Revolutionary War. And then that kind of ties into the fight for freedom of the revolution led to our freedom to enjoy and learn about nature today. So Britain Run is a way for people to enjoy that freedom. So as we kind of tie that all in. So our goals are Battle of Brandywine interpretive signage and interactive displays, stories of diversity in the Battle of the Brandywine.
Great.
Through interactive displays, inclusive programs for diverse audiences to learn about the role of diverse cultures in the fight for freedom. And we would link in, I don't know if you're familiar with Todd Pride, Legacy Land and Water.
I know Todd Pride.
Yeah, Todd helped us with this, and he would link in Lincoln University and Cheney. And inclusive programs so diverse audiences can enjoy that freedom freedom of nature today at Britain Run Preserve. So bring in diverse audiences. So yeah, so that's what we're excited about.
Oh, that is a great idea. What do folks think? Feedback, Steve? Yeah, good.
So we're just a little nervous about this. I keep trying to bug them and
make a decision. So you're on the
So can you mention, you all are in Chester County 250. So is there any role for you all to help us get funding if this doesn't come?
We are trying.
Okay.
So we're trying, just so you all know, on 2 levels, at least. One is that Chester County 250 has applied for some from our federal elected officials for some specific project monies related to what you're talking about, infrastructure. And we're also working with a delegation of our state representatives and senators to try to bring some money to Chester County. I mean, these things take a long time. So our stuff is in, and we're trying to figure it out with them. And it's a hard year, budget-wise and election-wise, for them to care about history and heritage. On the other hand, the governor's very interested in heritage and tourism and economic development, heritage, economic development, tourism. So we're trying to push that. So that's on the elected official side. We're also trying to raise money for, again, infrastructure money. I call it infrastructure. What's really what Heather helped me on this. It's heritage sites. It's also interpretive signage and kiosks in targeted areas throughout the county. So we have like $9 million worth of stuff. We're trying, that's our total project budget at this time. We're trying to raise money for so that y'all can have it. And we're also going around to corporations and really trying to engage them in 250 for, and looking at the heritage amenities right in their backyard so that they can partner up better with you. We're also trying to like do a battle of the builders all together just to pick up on some of that testosterone and see if they want to do some heritage preservation stuff for building. So we are trying, but it's at the very early stages. And so we're trying. Does that help? There's, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you're doing.
We're trying. Other questions, comments, ideas? No questions? I'm gonna, Jay Erb just joined a little while ago. Amy, do you know Ranger Jay? Jay, do you mind introducing yourself? Because I think you're an incredible resource and people could know about you if you can hear us.
Your name is familiar.
Might be on another call.
I know the name.
Good
afternoon.
There you are,
Sorry,
sir.
here.
Can you tell people why they might know your name, sir?
So I'm a ranger in the Chester County Park System with the Department of Parks and Preservation, mostly in the northern part of the region and affiliated with the Iron and Steel Partnership, along with some other affiliations in township parks and other civic aspects, maybe.
Is there anybody on this call who works in the iron and steel and industries sort of area with you, Jay? That's what I'm trying to look at and see, because as one of the key themes, it's important for folks to, and plus you overlap with Philly campaign as well.
Yeah, I'm on a phone here, so I'm not real quick at getting into the.
Does anybody
different-
in sort of have iron steel heritage sites in their region that they know about? Stephen,
We
a
do in
little
West
bit?
Callan. We're dealing with Hibernia.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who's S. Brown?
That's Steve Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah. So you said in Hibernia?
Yes.
And so you
We're
want to,
just outside of Coatesville.
right. I've been to Hibernia. So you work with the iron and steel a bit. And do you know in West Callan, have you all started to plan for 250? What would you?
We're just getting started, and we're working with our planning commission. I'm sorry, our Parks and Recs commission in the township to work together on this to see how we can put some programs together.
Great.
And I've been listening in on all these meetings to try and get as much information as possible for what ideas we can have, because being out here on the western end of the county, we were very much agricultural, and of course, a lot of the folks in this part of the county were not that much in favor of leaving England at the time.
Well, that is the hidden little message, isn't it, Steve?
Truly.
There were an awful lot of Tories over here, right?
A lot of them.
We gotta like dig that up and admit it. Right?
That's correct. And so, that's, there were some challenges here, there were with how the people would deal with one another. And there were a lot of Quakers here too. So, and most of it was just sort of people just stayed, to themselves.
Hey.
At least that's what we're finding, so far.
Yeah.
In our research. And, So it is a bit of a story to tell, because we've had some of those that were different with like at the Dawson farm, with the Sawbach farm, as it's called now, that Brandywine has, and it's, you know, Thomas Dawson was
Right.
one of the few people that was hung in Philadelphia without a trial.
Yikes.
Yes,
Hung without a
because-
trial for
because
being
of
a
his dealings
traitor?
with
Why? I missed that part of history. What's the
Yeah.
story? Oh. And that's, again, the untold story part of history is also that a lot of Chester County was not running to General Washington and signing up for the militia.
Correct.
Yeah, staying in your own place, not wanting to give food over. There's a reason the soldiers had a rough time getting food at Belly Forge, is because we weren't giving it up. Yeah, and so that's part of the story that needs to get out there.
Yeah, and it's kind of when you look at the county and how it's split by Route 100, you can see sort of the split between the two.
Okay, okay. So that more, I'm looking for my county map right now. Yeah, so
If you follow like a line just north and south, right down through the center of the county, you can see that
Yeah.
a lot of that activity to the east.
okay, yeah.
You know?
The east was more Philly based and the west
Exactly.
was more, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
And it's because of all the agriculture was occurring out in our neck of the woods.
And so agricultural bounty is one of the themes that is just starting to evolve now for the 250 initiative and for the heritage tourism. So just so you know, we've got a group that's just starting to get together to focus on that for the southwestern part of the county, Steve. So we should hook you up with that group as well. Is that, Heather, can you help so Mark Slough knows that Steve is focused on? That makes sense.
That would be
Certainly.
very helpful, because it is difficult to tell that story.
It is.
You know, everybody wants to be a patriot, but not everybody was at the time.
And let's be clear, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of nervousness. I mean, you're
Correct.
breaking away from the boss, yeah, basically. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll
Well,
put
worried
you
about their income,
Well,
what was going
exactly.
to happen.
your decisions. Yeah, you could make a decision to follow this rebellion and lose your shirt if it fails. So
Correct.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the stuff that, again, we've glossed it over for too long. And there's hard decisions to make in the founding of a country and fighting for freedom. There's hard decisions to make. And what happens over time? Yeah. And the people whose stories are heard first are the winners.
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned that your Parks and Rec has been working on 250 activities. I was looking back at my notes. I don't have West County as having passed a resolution, but it may be we just haven't heard about it. Is that something I can find out from you offline?
It just I know they just talked about it at the last supervisors meeting last week, so it should be coming through to you.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. And if you want any of us to come out and talk to either your Parks and Rec Commission or the Board of Supervisors or anyone to kind of
Sure.
help out, please reach out.
I will.
Just say the word. We will be there. That's what we like to do. Good, good. Well, that's great to know that it's happening on the western side of the county.
Yeah, it's great.
West Calland is. Thank you. Who else has ideas percolating?
So
Question?
Steve,
Yeah.
Jay here. It'd be possible, Steve, if Heather of the foundation could connect our contact information. We're having an Iron and Steel Heritage Partnership meeting this coming Thursday, the 23rd. Number of the partners that normally meet on a quarterly basis. And we're actually going to have some folks coming to talk about Airbnbs and how we can help them tell their story and they can help us tell our story. If you're available for that, try to get you an invitation.
We'd love to connect you. Jade, how often does the Iron and Steel group meet? Is it quarterly, monthly, whenever you, and can we help that happen even more?
Generally only have one annual, like, full partnership public meeting, but we every other month for a kind of a steering committee meeting.
Okay.
And we have those planned out for the rest of the year. So certainly if anyone from the foundation or
You know what? If you'd want to give us the dates, I would love to have them here and keep them on our calendar. Unless you already have, because Heather's got that look on her face. You may
Yeah,
have.
I don't, yeah, I don't have them. Yeah, Jay, if you could forward them, we can keep track.
And then as
Okay.
we find people who we think might be more involved in Iron and Steel, we do a cyber intro. That would be great.
David Blackburn, their our group. But I will get the dates and hopefully you can join us or
Okay.
pass. Even though it's a steering committee, it's informal. It's an opportunity for us to look at different avenues to help you.
You're cutting out, Jay, right? Am I the only one who can't quite hear Jay? No, it's everybody. Do people know the Iron and Steel partnership brochures and things like that? Jay, we're going to have to put you, I think, on a future outreach session for the Zoom because I mean, Iron and Steel in industry partnership is the oldest path. I mean, you've got some incredible partnerships and trails and maps and sites. So probably that would make a good one for us to put on a future session for just what Iron and Steel partnership is doing all the way, just every single day. And then the 250 overlay is even another side of it.
Yeah, I'm
Future
trying
discussion.
I'm out in the park now, so my connection might not be real good.
That's okay. We know Rangers get to go all over the place, right? Okay, we'll send it through. Well, yeah, we'll contact you about getting you on for a full session so people can understand it even more. So good.
Wonderful. Thank you for all you're doing.
Oh, thank you. And Heather, can you make sure and hook up Steve Brown and Jay Erb so that Steve can get the future information on meetings? Is anybody else in Steel for Jay to know?
I'm also throwing the Iron and Steel website into the chat if anybody wants to check it out.
Okay, good. Any other questions, comments, ideas?
I think one of the I think one of the challenges our township has is that while we have a few parks, there aren't really sites that are dedicated to places of stopping. You know what I mean?
Right.
And one of the things we're discovering is there were abolitionists that we weren't aware of and homes that they have, but they're privately owned. I was a little curious about what Jay had mentioned about Airbnbs and them telling the stories of their histories. Are there B&B owners that are interested in doing that?
Jay, did you hear the question? Are there B&B owners who are actually interested in telling the history of their semi-private Airbnbs to the public?
Yes, we have 2 different Airbnb members joining our meeting this coming Thursday that they really were not familiar with our story of Iron and Steel, nor do we really have a relationship. You know, in the northern part of the county, we really don't have hotels.
Right.
So, you know, we don't have that avenue for places to stay. So Airbnb is the option to fill that, but we've never had any of that communication. So hopefully this will be the first time we've actually met with them, or we'll be meeting with them. to talk about how they can help promote iron and steel, and we can learn more about how the Airbnb industry works, and we can fold that into iron and steel and larger Chester County heritage tourism.
Interesting.
So that answers the question of who else do you want to partner with? And so the step is to bring them in to talk to you about how they operate and what could be win-win. Good, good.
This will be our first communication with them, and it was two folks that I happened to cross paths with, and just don't know, how many other folks are in the same situation of having Airbnbs in the county or the northern part of the county, and we've never had that communication before.
Good. Okay, good. And it helps out as we reach out to the hospitality industry overall to know that you're trying to focus on the Airbnb relationship too. So good example to be able to put out there. More to come. Other questions, ideas, resources, ideas? Stephen and Leslie, can you particularly do a little talk about how arts, culture, creative expression is so huge? And a lot of times I think arts and culture gets left to the side when it comes to historic preservation and getting the message out. Can you talk a little bit about what you do and what resources you might be able to offer for 250? Yeah, go ahead.
Part of it is understanding what the community wants in terms of this planning and what people's talents are and so forth as well. So we've been thinking about putting together a series of videos highlighting some of our histories and places of interest. Long-term dream or goal would be to do a film of some kind, but that's sort of a larger thought. The thing is, and one other thing I'd like to mention, actually back in December, we had Thomas Jefferson come and speak to our township as they're with the American Historic Theater. In Philadelphia. They do tremendous work. And Stephen Bow, who played Thomas Jefferson, came out and he had the audience absolutely riveted.
Wow.
So there is an opportunity to connect with some of those actors there to pull in their stories. They touch on everything like natural sciences, landscape, farming practices, as well as the contentious debates that happened between political leaders of the time. I've been very interested in the Quaker history. I went to the Fierce Women Tour, walking this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Jen Green and did a phenomenal job.
Jen is another little rock star, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gilman, they both did it, and it was incredible. I mean, there's always something you learn, but she stood in front of the horticulture building.
Horticultural Hall.
Yes, and she set us up with the story of Dr. Ann Preston, and how there was something. Jen always has a way of like throwing out these little pearls that just kind of land on you. And the thing that she said was that it was the Quaker leadership.
Yeah.
The Quaker leadership that came from those communities, quality, social justice, that produced these giants. And that really resonated with me. But a lot of it is researching these histories and these stories. And there's some history that's, as you may be aware, that's kind of blowing our minds with respect to Shiloh African Methodist Episcopal Church, where there's so many layers to this, that it's all coming at us at once. And we're also involved in the advocacy piece for the site, that we're going to have to take time and we're going to need interpretation to really work through it. But a couple of the emerging ideas are to look at some of the Quaker families in this region, and most especially the African-American families of this community, and how they lived and worked and prayed together. Those connected stories, but a lot of it is some deep dives at the History Center and so forth, and looking at letters and trying to formulate some scripts. So I know that's a long about answer, but these are some of the things that we've been considering.
And they're all incredibly important and wonderful. Yeah, and the things that we didn't know that get discovered as things are almost being destroyed are huge. Wow.
Yep.
Leslie, arts and culture, 250, what can you say?
Well, I mean, I personally am very excited about this coming up. I graduated high school. I was the Spirit of 76, and we were actually, this was actually in Alabama, and we actually dressed just like you did when you came to the concert, you know, the full patriotic garb.
I wear it every day.
Tri-cornered hat, the whole bit. And they still, you know, use that to this day. Even though it's been a long time since that school was established. But I've always been, you know, very patriotic. And so as far as the Chester County Concert Band, a couple of things that we have done in the past and hope to continue to do. We've been performing at the Malvern Memorial Park. We don't do it Memorial weekend. They always had their celebration kind of the weekend after. So our director, David Reef, he actually wrote, well, he found the music too, and then wrote a band arrangement for the Paoli Battlefield March or something. It's something like that. I forget the exact name.
Really?
But so we have this wonderful piece of music. As well as we also have music that relates to Longwood Gardens when we used to play there. Now they're just making everything at Longwood is just professional groups, and you know we would really like to go because we used to play every single year at Longwood, and it was just wonderful. But we have a DuPont March, so there's actually you know in there. In the DuPont house there was the music for the DuPont March.
Oh, I've played the DuPont March music in there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually took that music and I just took pictures of the music.
Right. It's on the wall.
And then, yeah, and then David wrote it all out for the band. So we have this, and it's even a sing along and everything. And, you know, we're still waiting to use it because once he finished that, then we haven't been back to play it. So it's, you know, disappointing that we can't seem to get our feet back into Longwood. But, you know, we would love to, because I mean, that's, you know, a fabulous history of Chester County right there. And of course, we have all kinds of patriotic music that we would be playing for any event that would be coming along in the next coming years.
When you say patriotic music for any event, can you talk a little bit about the size of the band and the different scopes? I don't mean scale as in scales. I mean, like to use 100 chairs is a lot for some groups.
Yes, it is. And typically, even though like for the formal concert that Karen attended, we had about 100 on stage. Most of our concerts are more in the 65 to 75 member range. Now I know that still is a huge group.
Chairs. It's great.
Yeah, it is. But of course, if we get too small, then we're not the band anymore. So, you know, I mean, you know, David, our director, doesn't really want to represent the band as, oh, well, here's 10 people and, you know, this is the Chester County Concert Band, because it isn't, you know. So, but
so
I mean,
is your ideal outdoor venues like
yeah, I mean, it would mostly be outdoors, you know, obviously if there's an event happening, you know, during the winter, we can't be outdoors, but outdoors or, you know, inside certainly can also work, you know, we in an auditorium or a gymnasium, you know, things like that. I mean, we can play in any sort of a larger space. And we provide, I mean, we hope that the venue would provide chairs, but we bring everything else that we need. So, you know, and again, you know, everything, America the Beautiful, God Bless America, you know, all the armed services marches, you know, we play all of that, which we'll be doing a lot this summer. So, you know, Karen, you would have, I think, probably besides the national anthem and Stars and Stripes Forever.
Right, we had two.
We didn't have any other patriotic things for that particular concert, but we would certainly for the summer, and then obviously anything that involved in any of the 250 you know, programs, we would be, you know, very heavy on all that, but not exclusively. I mean, we would still have, you know, big band and children's music and, you know, movies and Broadway, things like that.
Yeah, I found your performance incredibly accessible. You had a wonderful diversity of ages in the audience and on stage. Is it mostly music educators?
I would not say mostly. No, I mean, we have music educators, whether they're current or retired. I mean, myself, I'm a retired educator. I just retired last year, but educator. But yeah, I mean, right now we don't have any high school kids, but we have a number of college students, all the way to people in their 80s. I don't think we have anyone in their 90s right now, but so it's really wonderful to see the diversity and you know, in ages. I mean, we have a little bit of diversity culturally. We would like more, but again, it's just one of those things. It's whoever wants to come and join the band. So yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot and ask for the dollar range if somebody wants to retain the concert band to come do a performance. Do you have like a sliding scale, a fixed fee?
There really is not a fixed fee. Most of our 1 hour public performances are in the $1,500 to maybe $2,000 range, or you know, somewhere around that. We do play a lot for at area nursing homes and retirement communities. So for that, usually I charge less. But then, like, we play twice a year for the Southeastern Pennsylvania Veterans Center,
right?
And in Spring City, and we don't charge them anything. So we've been playing there for years, and you know, it's just our gift to the veterans.
And you can fit 65 to 75 or to 100 musicians in those spaces?
Yes, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not, you know, we can't go everywhere. I mean, there's not, but there are some of the retirement communities where they have an outdoor space that we're able to use. And some places we just can't go because we are too big. So
you're huge, and it's wonderful, and it's gorgeous stuff. And boy, it just gets people going. And yeah, excellent. I appreciate knowing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay. All right. I see we are just past 1 o'clock, and I've tried to promise an hour. Anything else as far as ideas, more generation of ideas you want to talk about today?
I sort of missed as I had to step out. Oh,
that's
sorry.
Okay.
Bertha, you go ahead. You were raising your hand properly. You were a good student.
Just a quick question. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Bertha.
For the event on June the 7th.
Oh yeah, thank you for the reminder.
And you can go into more details about that. But that event is that event for people who are just interested in knowing about what the whole 250 celebration is about, or is it just for people who are interested in participating? I mean,
it's both.
As far as like
it is both, Bertha. It really is.
Okay, because there are other people that I want to send in. I want to send the invitation to. But I wasn't sure exactly who, you know, this is all for.
We are trying to really do a little bit of both. For all things, for all people, in a sense. We are definitely still getting the word out, and people are starting to understand about 250. So part of it is a bit of a, here's what 250 is about. We want to have each of the 4 heritage themes, as you know, Bertha, because you're one of the presenters, I believe, talk in a little bit more detail about what their heritage theme represents to the full group. And then we just want to promote a meet and greet. And a sign up to get involved in some of those things. I'm trying to make it bigger. And then we will go into some action planning groups with facilitators from our complement of personnel here to say, okay, what are you thinking about? And trying to do some idea sharing and partnership. And again, so it is for people who are already underway doing planning and for people who do brainstorm planning. So it's that's a big answer to your question, isn't it? It's anybody who's interested in learning more about or becoming involved in 250, and people who are already involved in starting to plan some things.
Okay.
So it is a wide open forum. And we have about 110 people signed up today, and we can accommodate about 150. Otherwise, we'll be standing outside under the trees.
Okay.
And Beth and Paige have ordered light breakfast foods and some bag box lunches. So there'll be plenty of food to eat throughout the day. Plus it said that Thornberry also is a CSA, so you can take produce with you. We also have a panel of elected officials who we have a few questions we are posing to them about which parts of Chester County's heritage themes really, how does it resonate with what they're doing right now as elected officials? And really, where does this fit in the priorities for Pennsylvania for elected officials in the day-to-day work they're doing? And why do they do what they do? Because it's a hard time for patriotism and democracy to be an elected official. So a meet and greet, as well as some conversations for the whole group, and then some more meet and greets.
Thank you.
So Stephen, I'm thinking you're right here for 5 minutes. If you can do it, right there. So that's what we're thinking. All right. So thank you for reminding me of that, Bertha. And somebody else, Tim, you had a comment.
Oh, I was just gonna jump in because I had to step out with somebody showing up for another thing.
They do that.
Yeah, and I don't know where everybody else is at in fundraising and some of that kind of stuff, but we've gone after a number of different grants that we're sort of waiting to hear back on. And it is a weird sort of backwards type of approach where we're sort of brainstorming while grant writing, while hoping that something comes through. And then based on that, we'll sort of tweak the performances and that kind of stuff. So Leslie, you sharing sort of your fee-based structure and that kind of thing is actually really helpful to make sure that I, nudge a little bit in there to make sure that we're at least asking for enough to open up some of those doors and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Most of my grants look like I'm going to hopefully hear back sort of latter part of this year. I was just curious from the group if that was a timeline that they were seeing for some of the other pieces, because that might be the timeline where these things go from sort of big picture thinking to more strategic type of timelines and that kind of stuff. I just wanted to get a feel for that.
I find your timeline to be exactly the same one.
Okay.
Same, yeah. And then that's why it's awareness raising this year that it's coming, so that you can start to plan and then try to figure out if there's resources to support that plan. And that's why the idea sharing is so important now, because if we all don't dream, then we can't figure out what to ask for money for. And I think the funding community is just, it's got so much confusion. When we mentioned the 250 and did something for the funding community last October, they were like, are you talking 2026? What are you talking for? So then we came back in January and like, no, that's too far down. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah.
The ones that are on it, I know, because we've talked to a couple of different foundations, the ones that are really focusing on 2026 already, they're so few and far between that they're getting bombarded with applications and that kind of stuff. So it is one of those that I'm sort of asking for the world, hoping to get a dime. And so that's where I'm sort of struggling to scale from a logistical standpoint in these conversations. But I do think it has been helpful to brainstorm and know, and I use them, for just learning more about other organizations. So from an awareness standpoint, it is certainly helping facilitate that. But yeah, I'm excited to shift it from big brainstorming into strategic pieces, and hopefully some of those private foundations come through with the funds to make it happen.
We are still on the big brainstorming part of it, so don't be afraid to do that at this point.
Sure.
And we are still trying to bring the private foundations, corporate leaders, and elected officials up to the bar, so that, this thing they all talk about liberty and justice for all and freedom and all that actually gets in the heritage history, gets some money behind it. We're not done. We're just starting. We're just rolling momentum. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for staying on a little bit later today. I hope you all have an incredible Memorial Day weekend. Don't come to Zoom in here next Friday, because we're not going to be here. You are here today. I hope to see you all on Friday, the 7th of June. We will be videotaping it for folks who can't get there. And just keep these Zoom sessions on your calendar for the 1, 2, 3, 4th Monday or 4th Friday monthly at noon, because from what you've been talking about, we're going to design some topics and speakers to really help keep this rolling along. All right. Thank you. Everything. Bertha, you got another comment?
Yeah, just quick question.
You're great.
On your website, are you listing Memorial Day events?
Yeah, definitely. So
Stephen Lyons?
yeah,
Are we on there? Shiloh?
You
I
know,
saw I saw their submission form that she put up, that Karen put up a little earlier in the presentation, and I was going to submit.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Thank
okay. You guys stay on the line. That way we can hook you up right now with Paige and Beth Kay, okay? Stay on the Zoom call. We'll make sure and get it right through. All
Very
right?
good. Thank you.
And just, if you can't put something on the website, just email it to us and give us a call, please. That'd be great. Thank you for everything you're doing. I appreciate it. All right.
Thank
Be
you.
safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.